Hi and welcome to today's head-to-head, and we've got a brilliant one for you. The big game of the weekend is Chelsea versus Manchester United at Stamford Bridge, and I can't wait. And representing their clubs today, I've got two beautiful ladies, right? Representing Chelsea, we have no other than Sophie Rose.
Hi everyone.
I'm sure you guys all know her, man, you know what I mean?
Some people might not.
Massive Chelsea fan, massive Chelsea fan. And representing Manchester United, I've got another Sophie. You all know her. You probably remember her from when she done that flick over DTZ on AFTV with her techers, right? But Sophie Richards representing Manchester United.
Come on. Away form. Let's keep that up.
Away form, yeah. It's a big game, man. It's a big game this weekend. You know, you guys the other night. Wow, that was a great result against Atletico Madrid.
Crazy, wasn't it? I couldn't have predicted that actually. You know, I actually thought, because I've been on so many Euroways, we never normally perform well. I think I've been on two or three. Two were the finals, the Europa League when we won that, and the Champions League when we won that. You might not.
Why did you have to remind me about
that?
Europa League, number one, you beat us.
I know,
there. Sorry,
I don't need to dig Arsenal today.
Leave me alone today.
And
right?
the only other two were Schalke away, and then the last time we played Atletico was we won 2-1 a few years ago, and it was like one of the best performances I've seen Chelsea play. So I think we've just got like a good spirit around that game. And I would have loved to have been there. If the fans were there, I obviously would have been there. But I expected us to at least concede, but Olivier Giroud's goal was just like second to none, really.
Great goal. Another Arsenal player we gave you. And and of course, Manchester United going great guns. Like you said, your away form in the Premier League has been unreal, hasn't it?
Yeah. I'll be honest, like going to Stamford Bridge, it scares me. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm confident, but like you said, that away form, it's something for us to build on and continue. And yeah, I'm expecting, the last game at Old Trafford obviously was a tight game. 0-0. Rashford had a few chances. I just hope that this time we can actually take those chances, because that's something that we've struggled with, I think, this season.
And Thomas Tuchel in charge as well. It's looking like a different Chelsea. But let's get straight in to the questions. First question I want to ask, and I'm going to ask this one to both of you. I'm going to ask you first, Sophie.
Go on then.
Yeah? Are Chelsea, I mean, they've been brilliant since Abramovich has come in, won league titles, the FA Cups,
everything,
Champions League. Yeah,
there's not much we haven't won without him.
But
I don't think there is. But
are Chelsea a plastic club? Are they plastic? Because, you know, before he came along with the money, they hadn't done anything.
Well, everyone had money at some point. Whether Roman came in, everyone's got rich owners. That's how you. Unfortunately, the Premier League is now about money. I believe it's who has the most money to buy XYZ players. The key is actually getting those players to gel well together. I don't think we are. I think now we've got a load of youngsters coming through. Mason Mount has been at the club since he was like the age of 6. Captained the team for the first time in our cup game. Is scoring goals. Tuchel obviously likes him. He's still including him, even though for Tuchel's first game in charge, he took him out, which obviously Chelsea fans are a bit upset about. But no, I think we've got loads of young players, loads of English young players now that are coming through. Billy Gilmore is getting a run in as well. We bought him when he was really young, Scottish player. So I don't think that's true at all. I think every single team in the Premier League, well, top flight anyway, has bought some of their best players.
So you think teams are jealous of Chelsea then?
100%. You're telling me, as an Arsenal fan or a United fan, you wouldn't want someone like Abramovich who has given you X amount of trophies in the last 10 years?
No. No,
it's a liar. Yeah, it's a liar. It's a liar, Robbie. Come on. That's true. Every club, I mean, if you're going to go that far, let's look at Man City. I mean, the money's just, I don't know, comes out of their ass.
Are they, Sophie, right? Big traditional club like Manchester United.
United have spent money over the years since Alex Ferguson's left.
Generated their money and spent it.
Yeah.
When you look at a club like Chelsea, you look and think, Chelsea, City, they're a bit plastic, these clubs.
You're being a bit rude here, Robbie.
Yeah, I think it's hard to not have that feeling, but at the same time, you have to obviously respect it. Because I think, especially like you look at Arsenal, you look at us at the minute, and we're crying out for someone to invest. And Ed Woodward, we keep moaning about that and saying Ollie hasn't been back, for example. I think you do envy it in a way, but you have to kind of respect the fact that Chelsea, obviously, that you mentioned Mason Mount and players like that, like quality players coming through.
Yeah, but then on top of that, they've spent 200 million quid. Yeah. Right, let's not forget that.
But
all those young players,
they
got a chance.
And look what happened to Lampard following that as well.
Yeah, they got a chance, those young players, because they weren't able to spend.
Yeah.
Now they're able to spend. All of a sudden, they're bringing in all the spending money. I mean, do you just look on that and think, Nah, it's not the right way. Like Man United, you bring through a lot of players and they stay there, isn't it?
I agree. I think when Lampard was in charge at first, I saw the likes of Mason coming through, and I felt that was a good opportunity for him. But then the second he had the fees to spend, like you say, spent it. And he's been punished really for spending that money because players didn't settle fast enough, and obviously he got sacked. But I think on the whole, like, I would rather see Chelsea bring him through. They've obviously got a good academy and good players coming through. As a United fan, I like to see that. Obviously, you've seen like Mason, Greenwood, and obviously Scholler getting a debut the other day as well. And yeah, I think signing players young, you mentioned Gilmour, bringing them through. I think that as a football fan, I would rather see that happen. But from a business point of view, and we have to be honest, football is a business nowadays. It's hard not to respect what Chelsea have done at the end of the day, but it still hurts me to say that.
Yeah, but also you've got to remember though, the money we've spent, we don't normally spend this amount of money. The reason it's been spent is because this is our first season without Eden Hazard. So we had Eden Hazard, we revolved around him for years. We were a team that played around him, and that's true. There's no doubt about it. Then we had a season where we couldn't even spend the money really that we got for him. And this is our first proper season. So 6 months with a team, even though we spent that amount of money, they're not going to gel well together within 6 months. It just isn't going to happen without the likes of Eden Hazard alongside of him. It's impossible.
What's your thoughts on Lampard getting sacked following that then? Because he was judged on that, wasn't he?
Yeah, no, listen, I think way too soon. I think we can all agree on that. But it can't be... I'll be honest and say I think since Tuchel's come in charge, I mean, we're unbeaten now in 8 games. So I think we've conceded our first goal in our last Premier League game under him. But it's you can't be shocked. I'm sure when Frank took on the job,
you
he
like
wasn't
this,
thinking.
this sack 'em.
No, I never used to. I'm just so used to it now that I'm just like immune. I was upset when Mourinho got sacked for the second time, and then I let all my tears out then. So by the time it got to Frank, I was upset, but I'm not shocked by it. It just is what Chelsea do. But then you have to think about Roman. Okay, yeah, he's cutthroat, but he wants us to win. That's in the interest of the fans, no?
Okay, I've got another question. Heard about Chelsea. They've, like I said, look at all the things they've won.
Yeah.
That used to be you lot.
Yeah.
You used to win all those things.
I don't understand how Ali's still in charge.
Are
you might like him.
Manchester United, are Manchester United an ex-great club?
You know what? I think since Ollie's come in, obviously we had Mourinho and Moisey, and I don't even want to talk about David Moyes, okay? But we'll talk
He's doing
about
all right at the moment.
I know.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about Ollie right now, and to be fair, I think we're back on the right path. I think for so long now we've been kind of in limbo, not knowing whether we're in free fall or whether we're on the way back up. And I think Ollie's come in, and I just feel like we're back on the right path. And I know a lot of people are Ollie outers and whatnot. For me, for right now, I like him. I think he's the guy. Long term, obviously, I think he's still got a lot of work to do. Tactically, I think he's still got to prove himself. But I think Bruno Fernandes coming in, what a signing he's been. He's slowly starting to get, I mean, you've seen Lingard at West Ham, you mentioned Moyes. How well is he playing at West Ham right now? He's slowly getting rid of the players that we've been saying for a long time now, they're not good enough for Manchester United and we need to get them out. Obviously, we've still got Phil Jones somewhere clinging on. I don't know how that's happening, but hopefully that will end soon as well. But I think we're on our way back up. I'm not saying we're there yet. I know people are saying we're title challengers and whatnot. We all know it's Man City's to lose. We're not stupid, but we're there or thereabouts, and it seems like it's been ages
there
since
or
we've seen.
thereabouts never
But
used
then
to be
say
acceptable.
That's not good enough now, but I think for where we were though, from where we were where Ollie took over to where we are now, I think there is progression there 100% in the way that we're playing. I know we've had Bruno Fernandes come in and people say he saves us a lot and whatnot, and he does, but I just feel like, I felt like we're on a downward path, and then Ollie's come in and I feel positive as a United fan, and I haven't felt positive for a long time. And like I say,
it's a great club for you. I mean, you lot have passed them, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, it's not been the same since Alex Ferguson left.
Of course, but look, it's the impossible job post Fergie though, isn't it?
Okay, yeah, but then again, if I'm looking at this from Chelsea's perspective, if we had a manager that had been in charge for a few years and now he was getting us to second place and we still didn't win, that would be a failure to us. You want trophies.
You say the impossible job, but you could have said that when Mourinho left Chelsea. That's the impossible job. But then they've still gone on to win titles since then. They've won other things. Champions League.
That's where we question, obviously, Ed Woodward and the board, isn't it? You mentioned the investment that's happened at Chelsea. We haven't really had that at United. We spent 80 million on Maguire, and we're looking at exactly...
Hold on, wait a minute. Investment?
In the right players, then I'll rephrase it.
How much did Pogba cost?
And
how much
has
did
it
Bruno
worked out
Fernandes
for Pogba?
cost? How much did Wan-Bissaka cost? How much did
yeah, but out of all the players you're mentioning...
They're not £10 million signings, are
No, but are you telling me Harry Maguire's worth £80 million?
You bought him.
But are you telling me he's worth that? Do you know what I mean? And I think like the investment is got to be done in the right places. And I think, to be fair, Chelsea are quite niche with the signings they're making. Werner obviously is yet to prove himself. Ziyech is yet to prove himself, but I'm sure that.
Well, Ziyech's been injured for bloody
True,
half the season.
True,
So it's been a bit
Havertz as
difficult.
well, to be fair.
Oh yeah, he's just shit.
But a lot of people, obviously, I mean, Werner hasn't been firing, but it takes a while for players to bed in. And I think we were lucky with Bruno Fernandes in the fact that he did bed in straight away, he did settle straight away, and he's had that impact. And without Bruno's impact, I think then that's probably a more realistic way to judge Oli. But it's hard to judge him when it's like halfway through getting rid of the players that I've already mentioned.
Let me ask this question. Who do you see winning a trophy first out of the two clubs?
I think
You
this
or
season,
Chelsea?
though.
Don't lie.
No, this season, though, what I was about to say is last season we got to semi-final after semi-final, and we fell at that hurdle, which is where the mentality we keep questioning, like, is there something wrong with that? But this season, obviously, we're still in the FA Cup, and I think that's realistic. Europa League as well, to be fair, it's tough, but it's realistic, and I think for us, like, we should be trying to get a trophy this season.
But who? Let's just answer the question.
I think Chelsea.
Who do you think will win a trophy, for, whether it's this season, next season? Who out of the two clubs will win a trophy first?
I genuinely think we've got a good shot of winning a trophy this season. I really
I
do.
think
So you
Chelsea
think
will win
you-
one.
Because I think Oli, realistically, after the failures last season, I think a trophy should be high up on his list. So yeah, I think
You don't agree?
No, I'm going to say Chelsea just purely because even if you look at our game against Atletico, that's in the hardest. I think that's the hardest competition to win. Like whether the Premier League's so tough, but the Champions League, yeah, there's no feeling like competing in that league. I think
I agree.
to play like that when we are a team that sort of just sat their managers trying to get young players playing well with new, very expensive signings. Probably I think the price tag of players really now is more about who's got the better agent to sign the better deal.
Yeah.
I don't think that really determines whether a player's good or not. I
And
think
what clubs are silly enough to pay that
yeah,
fee.
I just think
basically,
it's how they come in and they play in the Premier League, if they can handle the Premier League. That's what I'd look for. So I don't think you can judge it on that. But for Tuchel's he subbed Hudson-Odoi off. And then he had a talk with him after and sort of cleared the air about it, which is good. That's how you should deal with something like that. And then he featured in the Atletico game. So we've got a manager that is not afraid to,
You don't
do whatever he
sound.
wants.
I'm picking up the vibes off of you, Sophie. You don't rate Oli.
No.
She's not an Oli fan, no.
As a Chelsea fan, we've got like Roman Abramovich minds. We're used to winning.
So you'd sack him if he was a.
Yeah, the atmosphere in the ground when we're not winning is, even if it's 2 or 3 games where we've put in poor performances, we're just all pissed off, all annoyed. So it's a completely different. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to see like the longevity of it, but I don't think the Premier League functions that way anymore.
So in the long term, you think Oli's the right guy for Man United?
No.
I haven't said that though. I didn't say long term, I said right now. But you have to look at there what managers are available. Like, we missed the ship with Pep, let's be honest. Klopp, I think we missed the ship
You could have got
there.
Tuchel.
Yeah, and then Tuchel is another example, yeah. But
Where's
realistically
Pochettino
now, PSG, exactly my point. So if you sack Oli now, where are we going? Do you know what I mean? And I think we do miss the ship a lot. But you mentioned Tuchel, you mentioned that Atletico game. There's still a second leg to go, let's not forget that.
Ooh.
You can't write Atletico out. They played like
No.
Burnley, they were like the Spanish Burnley against you,
I've
to be
been
fair.
to many Euro games, nothing surprises me anymore, guys.
Exactly. So my point is, like, it's still early days for Tuchel. I agree, he's made a good start. I completely agree with that. But come end of the season, and then
I even
we'll
said
see
that he
talking.
probably wouldn't do well at Chelsea, Tuchel. I was like, what's he done? He's got to a final maybe, but he has made some very good signings, like Icardi and stuff in his time. So
All right, young players, right? You've both got a young player called Mason. Mason Greenwood, Mason Mount.
sneaky, Robbie. I see what you've done there.
I didn't even realise that.
Yeah.
I'm good at this. Right? Out of those 2 young players, which one of them is going to have the better career? Which one of them is going to be the bigger player, the better player? That player that's England regular, that player is a legend at his club. Which out of those 2 players, which Mason is the real deal?
For me, I'll start on Greenwood. I think that obviously the whole saga that happened at England and whatnot, I think we need to see him just knuckle down and focus on his football. If he does that, I have no doubt about it. I think he's a generational talent, and I think he'll be one of the best. But it's that mentality thing. He needs to stay grounded. He hasn't scored for a while now. He's had a bit of a rocky start to this season as well with that. Obviously, what happened with Phil Foden and stuff, and there was other reports in the media and that. Ollie's tried to protect him. So I think for me, if he can stay grounded, then Mason Greenwood, I think, is a better player. He's a different player to Mount, so it's hard to compare directly. But
talent-wise, you think he's
talent-wise, I think he's a generational talent, yeah.
I disagree. And I'm going to go, I'm actually being serious. I'm not being even biased. I think Mason Greenwood's a very good player. But Mason Mount, just for me, even when Frank originally brought him in last season, I used to sit in Matthew Harding lower, right by the corner flag, and I used to see in his face. And for me, out of all the players I've seen up close, I've never seen a player more dedicated on the pitch. He wants to play for Chelsea. He is like, he wants to be the best. He knows what it means to play for a club that, like Chelsea, we expect a lot as fans. He's been there since he was 6. I can see the passion. I think he's, from what I hear, well behaved, has everything, and is dedicated to being the best player he can be and playing for his country.
So you wouldn't swap your Mason for their Mason?
No, not at all. No, never. No.
They're different players though, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? I think if you're looking for a player who's got that X factor, that wow factor, I think you'd say Mason Greenwood. But Mount, like you say, I'm not knocking Mount. I think he's a great player.
Why has he got that
Mount's
X factor?
good. It doesn't even.
It's just how clinical he is in front of goal. He can go either way, and I just think that, like I say, if Graham did and nailed in a regular spot in the first 11, then I think we'll see him blossom and come on to be this player. But he's not that player yet. He's still got a lot of work to do. And
I don't think Mason Mount's had enough time as well.
They're both up and coming young players.
Yeah.
That's why I'm interested to know which one ultimately is going to be.
Who do you think?
Yeah.
I'll stay out of this.
But you know what? Ultimately, for England's point of view, it's nice to see like the talent that we have got coming through, the likes of Mason Mount, isn't it? Obviously, Mason Greenwood. The fact that we can talk about these players and say they're going to become legends, like I think it's exciting from an international point of view that we have got this calibre of player coming through.
Well, what I like about Mason Mount as well is that he doesn't need to score a goal to be an impact on the pitch. I know you could say that about a lot of midfielders, but he wouldn't have been given the captain's armband for no reason in the first place at his age.
What's your thoughts on the whole Southgate Mount thing? Obviously, it's no secret that he loves Mason Mount.
I just think Mason Mount has deserved his place. That's all I can. I'm only looking at from what I see on the pitch and from what I see as a Chelsea fan. You know, I'm not going to say I sit and watch international football all day long because I don't. Yeah. But I don't know any Chelsea fan that says a bad word about Mason. That's rare for a young player.
Okay, to be fair, he was on loan as well, wasn't it, Derby, and he did well there.
Let's move to legends.
Okay.
Yeah, both clubs got legends.
Lot of legends on my side, probably.
Right, let's compare. Let's compare 2 legends that, you know, were real captains, leaders. Which one of these legends was the greater legend? John Terry or Roy Keane?
Keano for me.
Well, I'm going to go JT.
You know, what it is with Keano is, I mean, we've said it as United fans, like that leadership and that character in the middle. And you mentioned Mason Mount doesn't have to score to be effective. Like Keano was that player, like his heart and soul in the middle of the park. I hated to play against him. Like he was just ruthless. And right now at United, I feel, even in world football, it's very rare that you have a character, even like John Terry to be fair, but like Keano. You say the snowflakes nowadays in football, but imagine if you had someone like Keano in the dressing rooms, like his resilience, his mental strength, his leadership, that's something that I feel like is invaluable. Not even, obviously he was a very good footballer, but his mindset, that champion mindset, I feel like United now that's something that we really lack.
So for you,
Keano. Terry quality, but Keano for me.
I'll go with John Terry, obviously. Hi JT, if you're
Why?
watching this. Well, I don't know where to start really. He's our captain for years. You could see how much he loved playing for Chelsea. It wasn't really for me, even though he was prone to scoring a few goals here and there. His leadership at the back and just keeping that stability and being able to sort of direct other players and assist other players and help out other players that were more inexperienced. When he left that back line, you could see we've had problems in defence ever since, really. I mean, we've got our old players. I mean, Thiago Silva was brought in at the age, he's like, what, 35? And he's proving to be sort of our best player, even though he's out injured at the moment. And that's because the most experienced, that was what John had. He was just, it was like having somebody on the pitch that you could rely on, that you know is going to put in a good performance. You don't have to worry when he's on the pitch. As well as if whenever we took him out, there's no leadership there, no stability, no consistency.
Would you swap him for Roy Keane?
No.
The different positions.
Would you swap him?
No,
but the leadership, would you swap?
No.
Well, let's put it this way: nobody's called a legend at a club for no reason. They're all legends for some reason. That's why they.
Okay, I've got another one then.
No, John Terry.
But I was going to say
another one. Who was better out of these 2 players? And they are in the same position. So now you can give me Scholes or Lampard.
Obviously Lampard.
Scholes is my all-time idol, so I'm not going to back
Frank Lampard's well, actually, Dennis Wise is, but actually no, Vialli is. Well, they all are, but.
So why Lampard over Scholes?
Frank is our all-time top goal scorer.
But he's over. Was he better than Scholes?
Yes, 100%.
Scholes was massively underrated in my opinion, like massively underrated.
You think Scholes is better than Lampard?
Yeah, I'll go Scholes all day.
I'd go Lampard
Why?
all day.
He's just an icon to me personally, but just the way that, how humble he is as a guy I love as well, but his passing on the pitch, and he's missing the United. You know, when I think of United, he's one of the first names that comes to my head. Like, you mentioned Lampard goal scoring and whatnot, but Scholes, he had so much to his game as well, but he couldn't tackle, I will say that, he could not tackle. That's one thing I'll add, but yeah, Scholes for me is just an all-time icon, and off the pitch as well, I just love the guy. I think his quality.
Not feeling it?
No. I mean, there's a reason Frank Lampard played nearly every game other than when he had the flu a couple of times per season. He was everything we needed in that midfield, not just goal scoring, his assists. He actually assisted in one of my favourite goals when Essien scored against a certain team.
But Scholes, he was like that good. We brought him out to retirement, man. Like, it literally brought him out to retirement. He was that good. He's just quality.
So Scholes for you?
Yeah.
Listen,
Who
I
would
think
you go,
Frank,
Robbie?
Huh?
From a neutral.
I'm staying out of it. I
don't think we'll see another Frank Lampard for a long, long time. The closest I've seen is Mason Mount, and he's still so young. It's hard to sort of compare, but he's our all-time top goal scorer. Like I said, we rarely missed a game. He's one of those players that we try to revolve our team around, and that's you don't get that in a player unless they are of that really high level.
You lot loved him.
Loved him. Still love him.
Loved him so much you sacked him.
I was going to say.
No, we, the fans, didn't sack him. And also, it's two different. Robbie, don't go there, okay? I will replay the Essien goal. I will do it.
All right, listen. Final question for both of you, right? It's a big game at the weekend.
Yeah.
Right. Both teams are on form. Away form, brilliant. Under Tuchel now is picking up. Home form's brilliant.
Yeah.
Who's going to win?
I'm confident. If you'd have asked me a month ago, I would have been honest and said I think you guys, hands down, would win the game. Tuchel hasn't... Well, he's unbeaten in 8 games now.
Yeah.
We are still having a little bit of trouble in the Premier League in that final third. That's something that I am a little bit worried about. I am worried about the likes of Bruno and stuff, but I just think we've picked up form at the exact right time. We're playing very tactical, quick pace football, like very high intensity. I love the fact that Tuchel's on the sidelines. Like, you can just see he's just very assertive. He's German, like me, you know, very confident people. And I like him, and I think
he's from Cyprus.
Tuchel? No, I am, yeah. I'm Greek and German.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
I didn't know
I'm a bit of everything, everyone. I'm a bit Russian as well, actually.
Is it?
So when I get in a mood.
That's why I'm not siding with no one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, but I think he's come in just the right time. I think he outclasses your manager in only a few games.
We drew 0-0 though last game, to be fair, with Lampard, didn't we?
Well, yeah. But also, if this was at Old Trafford, I would have been a little bit more wary. But I just feel like our home form has picked up. I think the team is playing well together.
What's the score going to be?
I'm going to go 2-1 Chelsea.
See, for me, it's harder than United fan. You say our away form, but then in that away form, we've drew to West Brom, and we could have quite easily lost that game as well. Do you know what I mean? So I think that statistic at times papers over the cracks a little bit. You've
been up for the big ones, haven't you? You've been up for
I was going to say, big games, you feel more confident for. It's more that the games like West Brom, where we tend to drop points. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm overly confident, but it depends what United turns up. If we turn up and bring our A game, the likes of Bruno, if he turns up, then I definitely feel like we'll beat you. Going forwards, I think we've got enough quality. But it's at the back where I worry. Like Giroud, for example, up against Lindelof, if that's going to be the case, like that's an area where I think you can exploit. So I think we'll concede, but I'm just hoping that we bring our A game in. Like I say, going forwards, I think there's no doubt in the quality.
All right,
so I'm going to say
we've
2-1
got a few injuries
United
as well,
win.
so
I think we're tight, but I'm going to go 2-1 United.
2-1 United. So 2-1 United, 2-1 Chelsea.
2-1, yeah.
Sophie and Sophie here. They're going to be joining me for the watch along as well on Saturday. Make sure you check it out. But, thank you, ladies.
I'll probably be a bit more aggressive in that watch along as well.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you very much, ladies, for representing your club. What do you guys think? What's your guys' answers to the various questions? Lampard or Scholes? That's an interesting one. Terry or Keane?
Scholesy.
Are Chelsea a plastic club?
Stop it, Robbie.
Yeah.
That's just
Are
so
Man
biased.
United an ex-big club?
No.
That's
I'm
just
not
so
saying
biased.
nothing,
It's
I'm asking
totally
them.
biased.
I'm asking them.
We'll be
Let
having
us
words
know.
after this.
And don't forget to subscribe to the Don Robbie channel. Thank you very much.